Hey everyone, Lauren here. I'm going to share the process video for another layout using the September kit and the Cocoa Vanilla These Days collection, which is heavily featured in here. Now I'm going to do a photo. I actually printed it in 3 sizes because I wasn't sure which one I was going to use. It was just kind of a quick print job, so I printed in 3, and then I had the idea to use them all together. It might be a little weird. I'm sure it's something that not everyone does, prints the same photo multiple times and puts it on the same layout. I have done many times the same photo on different layouts because I've enjoyed the photo or it's inspired me creatively. But I don't think I might have. Possibly, probably. But anyway, today, definitely using the same photo 3 times. My cute little son, my youngest one, Oliver, and my dad's dog, Coda. Took a little selfie when they were there on school holidays one time, and I messaged my son and said, "What are you doing?" And he replied with this photo. So, a bit obvious, he was hanging out with the dog. So I'm just going to write selfie time and just put in the thickers on to my stamp block. And I'm thinking that this little configuration looks really cool. I'm liking the sort of geometric grid kind of panel to it. So I'm going to back this little one. Did consider backing all of them, but then I thought they're going to get all really big and then it's just not going to work. And when I back photos, I tend not to just leave it as one layer. I end up with multiple layers, and what's going to happen is I'll end up with just one photo on the layout instead. So I then changed tact and decided, because there's photo heavy down the bottom and a lot's going on with the photos and the title, that I'll add some paper layers and a pop of interest up the top. So I'm just having a little play with how the colours will work. But because the kit's been put together really well, there's a lot of the collection in there, it just coordinates super well, so we don't need to think too much about how the pattern papers are working. I did pull out this vellum piece that we got in the kit, and I was cutting some stars and debating whether I'd have some vellum stars in the background. That was not working for me, so I quickly put that idea to the side, and maybe another time might use that idea. Okay, so I'm just cutting down my pieces. I am then using my cutter to measure out the 12 by 12 so that I can make a layout that's going to fit in a page protector. Otherwise, I guess I'm going to have to display it in the room if I don't get this measurement right. So I did just mark it on the piece of paper just a little bit, just to make that easy, and voila. And just look at my superb measuring. I have since now got a T-square ruler, so that is good, so that I don't need to be using a piece of pattern paper to measure that it's 12 by 12. Anyway, so I'm just cutting down some pattern papers, just having some different thickness, some different length, and then I'm just going to be able to slide them in and pop them together. I don't want anything except the orange one to be the full length. And look at how that comes together also nicely already. I do add some more to this layering, but these are definitely the best starting points. So I've got a bigger, thicker one that's at the background, this green piece, and then I do have a little play. It's probably better if you use wet glue to do this, because it's going to slide in a lot nicer. Especially this white one, I struggled a fair bit to get that in, but I get it there. I pulled my tweezers to pull it up. The other thing is, because the orange is stuck to the yellow in the back there, I don't know how much room I actually left to pop them in. So again, just checking the position of the photos and the title. I did consider changing it so the title was up the top there, but I don't. I leave it as the original. And so just quickly off with the tape and on with the photos. So you can see those two top photos are in line on their bottom edge, and then that bottom one is overlapping that join so that they're not all there's not a big gap and like a hallway down the three photos. So just looking through the ephemera pieces, there's the ephemera that we got in the kit, but also then the printables, just pulling out things that work with the colour scheme, because I've not used all the colours, and things that, like in terms of phrases or icons, things that work with what's going on. So, yeah, sorry, my son just walked inside, excited about his garden adventures. So I am going to just use this wood grain here to make a tag. I cut off one edge and then put that little triangle edge that I cut off on to the right. And I should have thought about this earlier so that I could layer it underneath that photo. But alas, I did not. And this little strip of houses is going to be a cute little addition to those layering pieces up the top. So adding a little bit of twine to my tag, just knotting it with just a simple knot so that the string goes up and down. Now when I pull up my photo here, because I've just printed on cheap photo paper, it does buckle my photo. So instead I am now going to use this as a layering piece. So I pull out this green and I'm going to put a little fishtail banner there, and then I'm going to actually put the title there instead. And I actually think that looks much better than the original idea. So sometimes things are good happy accidents, especially when you go with the flow. Okay, so just putting in this houses up here. There's a little tab. It's also going to nestle up the top, and then this little phrase as well. Oh, and I think there's a pattern paper, yeah. This little offcut of the stripes. So just making sure that they're all the right size, that they're going to sit where I want them, having a little play as to exactly where I want that, and decide I go closer to the photos, and on it goes. Sorry, tell a lie. Or do I? I'm still obviously not very short. Yep, there we go. And then I'm going to fill in this little space down the bottom by the third photo with some phrases. Going to stick on my title. These letters are pretty fun. I love how their font is a little scripty and it's all different. It just settles really well together. And so I'm going to add that phrase sticker there. I do go in with the glue just to make sure my thickers are stuck down. And this is where I get the idea of putting the glue on the mat, I believe. Watch me. Nope, be crazy. Oh no, here we go. Yeah. I was going to say, I thought this was the first layout that I did where I rubbed the thickers into the glue. Makes it much easier because you saw when I did the S that it just glue went everywhere. So it's best to have one little spot of contained glue. And make sure you put the dot on the I. Use the glue for that phrase sticker as well because we've got the glue sitting there, and then just use a baby wipe, wipe it off. So it's much easier if you put in on little things. Another layout I did it with sequins and things like that. So it's just those smaller things, and if you've got a few of them, then definitely chuck some wet glue on your paper, on your mat, sorry, and drag them through. So just added this little tab. No, it's not a tab. It's like a tag, a banner, I guess, a little banner. And I'm just going around that tag and that green banner that's got the title on it, just so they stand out a little bit, gluing down those thread pieces of the tag just to make sure they stick and stay in the position that I want them to. And then I'm going to get working on embellishing. So at this stage, I haven't thought about that little blank space down the bottom near the third photo to the right of it, but I do fill it in and I make those 3 clusters. So I've got the cluster here where it's got the title, and the cluster up the top with the photo layers, and then that cluster that's got the title sort of cascades down and becomes one with the cluster that is next to the third photo. I'm going to chuck on all the puffy stickers because they're puffy stickers and they're delightful. So on they go. There's a lot of lovely little puffy hearts, and then I put on some of the trees, and that just nestles in really well. And then I'm thinking about a label here so that I can add my journaling and just tell that little story of how I texted him and asked him what he's doing, and I got a photo response. And just again looking at those phrases to see if I can fill it in, just because putting that journaling spot just there by itself was it's nestled in with that top cluster where the title is, but also needed something to bring it down and finish it underneath the journaling spot. So I do of course add a lot more than I think I could have got away with just adding that piece, but I do go in and add a lot more phrases just to finish it off and have fun with it. So who's enjoying their September kit? Who's getting a lot done? Who's, killed it? Who's used it a lot? Who's hoarding it? Who brought extras from the shop, the Kitaholic Kits shop, so that they could have extra, because Cocoa Vanilla is one of those things that we always love to have extras of. I'm sure there's lots of kits and collections that we like to have extras of, but we are very loyal and very good to our Australian brand of Cocoa Vanilla for good reason. The collections are always adorable. So on goes the journaling. Why can I not say ing at the end of the words anymore? And adding a doodly border around the whole page, and then round these photo pattern paper layers up the top, and then we're going to go into the close-ups. So hopefully you've enjoyed the video today and has inspired you to get creative, and I hope you're enjoying your September kits. Have a great day, guys. Bye.